Well, I interviewed Lisa Ann a few weeks ago, and she said something very interesting. She said, doing porn is like getting a tattoo on your face.
I guess it could be compared to that.
What do you think? Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, it depends, because not everybody knows porn, so I mean, I don't always get recognized. You know, a lot of people will recognize me, but then a lot of people don't know the adult world. So unless they know, then, you know, and if they do know, then, well, they obviously watch porn, so.
I think she's referring more not only in terms of being recognized, but also as you go through life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like, that's something that will always have to come up in every relationship.
Oh, of course.
You know what
I mean,
mean?
I would never even try to hide
Right.
the fact.
But I've you know, I know girls that, you know, who used to do porn, who would date a guy and then just not tell him, and then he would find out and it'd be like a bad reaction. And you know what I mean? Like I've heard a few stories like this.
But I mean, in any relationship, if you're going to hide something that huge, that's a huge break of trust. It doesn't matter the job, it's the fact that they're lying about it. I always am very upfront with whoever I'm dating.
Okay.
I mean, they always know that, yes, I do porn. Sometimes it'll become a problem later on. You know, like I've barely really dated civilians, we call them. I've dated very little civilians since I've been in the industry. But I think I can only think of one instance where I was dating someone and then a few months later it started being a problem because feelings started happening.
So, I mean, have you been in serious relationships since you started doing porn?
The only serious relationships that I have been DS relationships, which
DS?
is dominant submissive relationships with like a master. And because that's a very sexual relationship, yeah, the porn thing was just an added bonus for that. And then my girlfriend was also in the industry, so again, that didn't have it. There was no problem there.
So when you say a DS relationship, that means that were you the submissive or were you the dominatrix?
I was the submissive.
You were the submissive. So the man would dominate you.
Yes.
Okay. And
I also had a female I had a dominatrix as well. My first DS relationship was with a woman.
Okay. But the male one, you'd be the submissive. And you like that?
Yeah, I loved it. Oh my God, it was one of the best times of my life. I was really obsessed with the movie Secretary and the book Story of O and that whole world, and I always wanted to experience it. So, oh my God, it was so much fun.
So, I mean, explain, you know, to people who don't really know this world, like, how does a relationship like that work?
Well, it's based mainly on trust. People, when they hear of like having a master, they think it's all about, you know, being told what to do and controlled and manipulated or whatever. But it's really not, because the submissive is the one in control, because the submissive controls what is being done to them.
How so?
Like, if I don't like something, then it doesn't happen. If I need something to stop, it stops immediately. That's where the trust comes in.
Is that like the safe word thing?
Yeah, there's always a safe word. If there's, you know, if things get a little too extreme, then I can always call quits on the situation. But that's why the submissive is ultimately in control, and the dominant leads. They're the one that lets the story unfold and guides the submissive to where they want to go. There's actually a lot of responsibility in being a dominant. Now that I switch, there's it's crazy the amount of dedication that is involved, actually.
Interesting. You dominate as well?
Yes.
Okay. So give me an example of things you do to a man during a dominatrix session.
Well, I'm a fan of breath play, so I usually like to play with people that are also fans of breath play.
Choking.
Yes, choking, and so like if I'm on top, then I'll like choke. I like using my nails. Strap-on is also a go-to there. I like wielding a strap-on.
On a guy.
It's a very powerful feeling having a strap-on cock to fuck somebody with.
You're talking about men.
Well, both men and women.
Okay. When you put a strap-on and have sex with a guy,
well,
that guy is not gay.
There are some straight guys that, they just like a little finger in there or whatever. It's an erogenous zone.
Right.
And everyone's body is different and everyone's body reacts differently.
Okay.
Just like how some girls are really, really into anal sex and some girls can't even handle a pinky. Like,
right.
Everyone's different. And so because also there's a G-spot kind of in that area for guys.
Okay.
Can be fun.
So the guys that you have this type of thing with, you consider them straight?
I mean, if they identify as straight, then yeah.
And do they usually identify as straight?
Well, sometimes yes and sometimes no. I actually was in a DS relationship where we both switched on each other. So he would dominate me and like tie me up, and we would have these crazy role play scenarios, and then after a while I would dominate him, and I'd put a strap-on and make him blow me and and use that as a form of breath play, which is also very fun.
But you haven't had just a regular boyfriend, girlfriend, traditional type relationship since you got into porn?
Well, actually, I'm in one now.
Okay. So how's that going?
Civilian. Really good.
Yeah?
We just celebrated a year anniversary.
Okay. So how is the conversation when it comes to your job?
Well, he really likes, he actually watched a few of my movies before we met. So okay. he was super down when we met. And I think that because he trusts me and I trust him, and because that's what it's all about ultimately. It's the trust thing. And people, if a civilian is going to date a pornographer, then there has to be a lot of trust, because they have to know that it's a job. Because that's, at the end of the day, it is a job.
Okay.
And, it's not like after I'm finished working, I'm going to go off with all these and have a bunch of orgies or something. I'll go home and,
right.
Well, I'll shower and go home.
So, is it an open relationship at all? I mean, can he have sex with other girls?
I mean, I think he could if he wanted to. I think he just doesn't want to.
Yeah? Have you guys incorporated other girls into the relationship?
A little.
A little?
Just a little.
Just a little, but not too much.
Not too much.
So if he told you, if he came home and, you were shooting, that day, you come home and he goes, something, while you were shooting, I went and got something on the side. Would that bother you?
Well, it would probably bother me a little bit because I was finding out after the fact. I would prefer to be told up front.
Okay.
About something like that. And then I wouldn't be able to get mad because, I'm kind of going and having sex with people as well. So, I would accept the fact that he would want to do some stuff on his own too.